The other day I was looking for information for a new video, and in between information of a different level of dubiousness, I found out that Nazis made their own Titanic film. I was intrigued, so I went and watched it. So, this film was commissioned by Joseph Goebbels, this guy. He was Minister of Propaganda in Nazi Germany, close friend of Mustache you know. The whole film was made to make British and Americans look stupid and greedy, while showing Germans as moral, responsible, and honorable. We're gonna talk more on this later. There were also some drama during the filming process. The film director was imprisoned and fucking killed in the prison. Maybe drama is not very appropriate term for this. But anyway, so let's talk about the film itself. Unlike Cameron's Titanic, that was more romantic in nature, this was a pure propaganda piece. So, film starts on board of directors of White Star Line, with talks how they don't have any money left and how shit is their stock. One of our heroes, Mr. Ismay, says that he can pull a PR stunt with Titanic and get more investment and fixed stock prices. He invites a couple of rich friends on board of Titanic and promises them an astronomical returns if they help him. His idea is basically insider trading. Then we have a bunch of scenes where we see that all the British and American officers only talks and thinks about is money. We also get to know our propaganda hero, German officer Peterson. Also, there was a strange bit that I think had to show us how cool are German women. But ultimately, it showed that they would just kiss anyone and can't count for shit. Also, couple of German work-class broskis that fight for her attention. So the idea of Mr. Ismay and his bros is to buy a bunch of cheap stocks of White Star Line. Then he wants to beat a transatlantic speed record on Titanic. And then to sell stocks high. That's some Etriog shit. He knows more about stocks than I am. On the contrary to these greedy Brits, we have Nello's greedy Americans in the face of Mr. Astor. He thinks that stocks wouldn't rise and he will just buy out a 51% of company and get Titanic for himself. So, Mr. Ismay begins to constantly override Capitan's authority. Firstly, just for a little whim, to show his esteemed guests the engine room. Of course, to brag about how cool his unsinkable ship is. Do you feel this foreshadowing? Nah, who do I ask? The film is literally called Titanic. We see that temperature outside starts to fall. Mr. Ismay commands Capitan to go full speed and puts him a monetary reward if they came to New York ahead of time. Then a bunch of uninteresting stuff happens. You know, ye olde films, romance and dialogues. German broskis have a fight and one of them gets into detention for pulling a knife on his bro. What the fuck propaganda is that? Then we get this information through telegraph that a bunch of ice drift is heading in front of the ship. Our German protagonist suggests Mr. Ismay to slow down. Mr. Ismay, on the other hand, suggests German Peterson to piss off. German Peterson tries different methods to convince Mr. Ismay, but none works on greedy Brit. We also see that apparently Titanic is under-equipped, because greedy Brits decided that they don't need spare parts. Then crash happens. No one besides Captain crew notices it. Captain in short time found out that they actually are sinking. With radio, they find out that there are no actually any ship nearby to save them. They see a freighter shooting flares on the horizon, but they cannot call it because freighter doesn't have radio, and Titanic wasn't equipped with red flares to signal SOS, only with white one that doesn't say shit. Captain asks his crew to fly to people and run evac drill instead of an actual evacuation. Then we have this long ass portion of film where everyone is running around like a headless chicken. Oh yes, and we also have this constantly blaring siren that I really fucking hate. Of course, in this chaos, only German people are smart and calm. Mr. Ismay tries to circumvent the whole children and women first thing and tries to run first. And only Germans are trying to save other people. So yada yada, one bro saves the other from detention, and together they made a raft out of some barrels and save a couple of girls. Our German officer puts Mr. Ismay into a lifeboat to prosecute him later in the court. Peterson then is ready to die on a ship, but finds a little girl in some passenger cabin and saves her. German Peterson, together with this little girl, is fished out on the lifeboat, and they are both safe. After this, we have a court session. German Peterson tells the court all the shit that Mr. Ismay done and asks for a sentence. The court, on the other hand, blame all on the captain that died and acquits Mr. Ismay of any wrongdoings. After this, films end with a propaganda text that says that none of corrupt higher-ups paid a price for death of 1500 people. The end. Okay, there are a bunch of stuff I want to say. Somehow, looking from 2025, the greed of Mr. Ismay and others looks like just business as usual for me. It's kinda like I heard this story countless of times. Greedy higher-ups fucks up, people dies, blame it on a scapegoat and get out scot-free. It's funny to see that scene that was an over-exaggerated Nazi propaganda to be so tame in our time. Overall, this film had a really short run and only in occupied territories, never in Germany itself. After war, the film was banned in many countries. It was captured and showed in Soviet Union as trophy film. Okay, truth be told, when I watched this film, I didn't feel any of the propaganda shit. Half of it is due to the film's age. It looks pretty goofy. And the other half is that even if it was blatant propaganda, it was much less blatant than the shit that modern studios push out in our time. Yeah, you heard me right. Today Hollywood's propaganda is much more blatant and in your face than stuff that was made by literal Nazis. So, what we learn from all this crap? I don't know much besides one thing. If you are a billionaire, then you're innocent in any case. So, smash a like, comment and subscribe to me and to my ex. There are more videos to come.